Hey guys, welcome back. We got recap time. We'll get into the numbers a little bit later on in the video here, but we're going to go through all the hits. So this is kind of what you should expect if you somehow stumble upon 1,091. We opened an ETB as well, so the numbers have changed slightly. If you don't want any spoilers, don't look right now. Go down below in the link. There's going to be a link in the description. You can watch the entire opening. It's like 8.5 hours. It was a long one. It was a slugfest. But right now, let's take a look through all of the hits here. We got the EXs. Now, I think this set is pretty good. I'm getting ready to kind of list everything off to recoup any of the costs that went into it. Again, warning: do not do this if you don't have some means to, I guess, get the boxes as cheap as humanly possible. Super cheap. Thanks to the sponsors. We got PSA Pikachu. We got Troll and Toad being the all-stars on this one here. Getting the boxes mega super cheap to the extreme in exchange for some advertising. And then also, you guys, for using the Rattle 5 code so damn much on Troll and Toad, saving 5% and also supporting the channel at the same time. Again, the affiliate links, the codes, best way to support the channel. Get yourself something that you actually want, that you actually need. Now, important, we'll go through the stuff that is kind of standout, the stuff that we want to hit a lot. Now, when you open a lot of stuff, you're going to kind of remove the variance that's involved in what's going on here. You're going to get a pretty even number of each thing. Now, we got a little bit lucky with some stuff. We definitely want some of these Teal Mask Ogre Pawns. I've been playing this deck. It is sick nasty to the extreme. That paired with the Raging Bolt, you accelerate a jillion energy, you smack daddy for 1 billion damage. So these guys, they're worth something. They're worth kind of like selling off to recoup the money that you spent on product. If you're not going to use them, if you don't need it for the set, those are the kind of things that if you're looking to recoup some of the money from opening, again, opening's fun. If you're not having fun opening, for the love of God, do not open Pokemon cards. Just buy the singles, let them cool off. Don't buy the playable stuff until it's not playable anymore. There's a lot of EXs in the set here. The majority of them, I guess we can, if anyone wants to count any of the individual, you can get more or less of a certain card. It's just going to happen. I mean, with you'd have to have just a disgustingly large, like 100,000 booster pack opening before you would see these kind of like even out very, very close to what they actually are. So I'm under the belief that no EX is any more rare than any other EX. Anything of the same rarity is probably the same pull rate. Now there might be an extra copy of something. There might be one less of something on a sheet that makes it a little bit harder to pull. But that's what we're getting into. So we got Palafins here. I think the Palafin there might be some people trying to play the Palafin. Maybe the other Ogre Pawns kind of get their day in the spotlight. Maybe they come in. But for the most part, the Jade one, the grass type one, is the big boy. Now, some of these, maybe they're not worth selling at this point in time. If they're like $1 or $2 or whatever, and you want to dump them, you can dump them. But sometimes stuff gets introduced, maybe in a future set. Maybe something gets discovered that it's good. Maybe the format changes or the meta changes, and all of a sudden some of these cards become useful. That's where it's kind of nice to know a little bit about the TCG, even if you're not playing the TCG. If you're dealing in this stuff, we have a Luxray where it shouldn't be. All right, switch him over there. We got the Scream Tail. So yeah, there's some weird stuff. Some of it is just like filler in the sets themselves. We want to hit a lot of Greninjas. Greninja, people are playing the Greninja, so we did good on the Greninjas. We hit a lot of them. You can get lucky or unlucky. But regardless, the stuff that people are playing, not only are they going to be excited that you're listing it and maybe bringing the price down a little bit, or making it just more accessible. If collectors, if people that are just opening product for fun, are selling off this playable stuff, it's good for the collectors. It's good for to recoup some of the cost. Dragapults as well fit into that same thing. These bad boys are expensive. Will they be in the future? Probably not. So if you're buying singles and you're looking to save $1, because you just need one for the set, you probably don't want to buy this right now. You probably want to wait till people aren't playing it. It is the flavor of the set. It is the flavor of the format. It is everyone and their dog is like a Dragapult is so damn good. We got quite a few Dragapults. Again, not as many as some of the other EXs. I've seen some people playing Blissey, so that might be worth a few bucks. Ursaluna as well. I think this is usually, so it's also going to depend how many copies of the card are required in the deck. If you're playing something like a Dragapult and people are playing 3 or 4 copies of it, they need more for the deck. The demand is going to be higher, even if it's the same amount of playability as something else. Ursaluna, I think people were like splashing 1 or 2 into decks, so they might not be as desirable, but still worth giving it a look. So if you can just even go on TCG Player and just sort by highest price and kind of go down, if you're not familiar with what's playable, what's expensive. The Pokemon Marketplace account as well will often, the Rattle Pokemon Marketplace account on Twitter, on Instagram will often post if something like becomes playable and you want to check your bulk for it. That's a good time to do so. Again, it's a nice little way to get a couple bucks back from the packs that you've opened, and make it a little bit more affordable. Not to mention the fact that, somebody wants them for the deck. Now, in here, we got super lucky with the EVs. The EV is stupidly expensive. What are there, 22? I should have counted before this. Well, in the later part of the video here, I will get a count, but there aren't that many. It's 2 Japanese sets combined, unlike some of the ones that are 3 Japanese sets combined, so we don't have that many IRs. Now, the Eevee, where it's the Eevee, so people love it, people are excited. It's got Eevees slopped all over an armchair, but you got to keep in mind here that it's not very hard to pull. So I can't imagine it's going to be sustainable. The Magikarp is much harder to pull than the Eevee is. I get it. Eevee's probably more popular, but it wouldn't surprise me if that Eevee drops in price. I think it's a little crazy where it is now. But again, it also depends on how much product people open. I think I pulled 7 Eevees in total. But like you can see here, there's like 5 Infernapes. It could have been an Eevee. It's probably the same rarity. And yes, people are going to open some packs. Or the Fiona here, we got 2 of them. Could have been 2 Eevees. People would have been screaming from the rooftop. They would have been like, oh my god, the Eevee is extra rare. It's not. It's just, sample size is not large enough. And I know the sample size is large. But with these sets where the pull rates on certain stuff, we're probably, on average, you're probably getting like 1 per case. We'll take a look at the numbers later and see kind of what we're looking at here. But I think you can kind of expect 1 per case on, about 1 per case on any specific IR. We got a Growlithe. I only got a couple of the Growlithes. Beautiful little Growlithe that matches with the Perrin SIR. We got Probo Passes. We got Timbers. It's kind of convenient here. We got the Eevee saving to the end. The Larons. So you can see here we got 5 cases. So we got like 4 or 5, sometimes like 6, 7 of any of these particular ones. So it's got to be roughly about 1 per case. Now, if you open a case, you're not guaranteed one. You could get a couple Eevees, you could get no Eevees. So keep that in mind. I don't think anyone should be opening just for the sake of like trying to chase down the Eevee. You might get lucky, you might not get lucky. We got very lucky with these. This is going to help greatly in reducing the cost of the product itself. Again, the mission with this opening, it's usually not the mission, but the mission with this opening is to break even. So through sponsors, it makes it very easy to do so. Sell off the duplicates here, and yeah, that's it. It's that simple. So again, don't try this at home. If you go open 5 cases and you just straight up list them on eBay, you're probably not making your money back. If that's worth it to you, then I guess by all means do what you got to do. Let's go through the A specs. Again, the A specs. I think there's only a couple of them that are. I should have looked at the prices. But a couple of them that are kind of really desirable. Again, some of them might just be bad forever. Some of them might come into play that it might be playable in something that's good in the future. But for the most part here, I think other than the unfair stamp is pretty good. So if we're going to get duplicates, we want the stamps, as many stamps as possible, and legacy energy. I've seen both of those played, so we got a pretty even distribution. They're not that rare. There's only 1 required per deck. So like, the A specs are never probably going to get too out of control. I mean, if every deck is playing the same one, you're going to see a premium on that. All right, now the full art division. So they kind of fixed so early Scarlet Violet was kind of broken. It was broken in the way that it was harder to get all of the full arts than it was to get all of the SIRs, which kind of shouldn't be the way. It kind of didn't feel right. They've been more generous with the full arts, easier to get the full arts. And they made it a little bit harder to get the SIRs and the hyper rares, or the gold cards that are now called hyper rares. again, still weirds me out every time I call a gold card a hyper rare, because I'm used to calling the rainbow stuff a hyper rare. So we got a triple Luxray. Again, in the full arts, you're looking for the same playable cards. So our Jade Mask Ogerpon is good. We want the Greninjas. We definitely want the Dragapults. Again, like maybe these guys end up being playable. Maybe they come in. Maybe there's a fit for them. Maybe it's a one-of. Maybe it's something. It's weird that that there isn't a better way to like play all the masks together. I don't know if that was what they were going for. Dragapult doesn't have a higher rarity than the full art, so he is. You wanna grab this bad boy. You definitely want as many of these as possible. Again, we got all of the full arts locked down, so at that point, you're just looking to recoup dollars, and to do so, you want just whatever the most expensive thing is over and over again. And with this stuff, it'll be really easy to list on eBay. Just because you can make a multiple listing. We got Carmines. Those are good. I think those are being played. Were they played in Lugia? I think that's what Collector Mike said. We got a couple Hassles. The Hassle did not want to show up, and I'm not really mad about it. He was like $1.70 or something on pkmn.gg that it was showing. So like, if he didn't show up, not the end of the world. But it would have been cool to complete the set. We're still missing 3 cards from the set completion. We'll take a look at that in a second here. The Perrin always confuses me because the full art looks so much like the SIR. You gotta kind of like look to see if it's, I mean the sparkle treatment and the Growlithe and the camera lens are kind of a dead giveaway, but it did throw me for a loop there. All right, we got 2 of the Sinistras. Same thing with the SIRs. Man, they can make or break you. If you're getting duplicates, they better be the good ones, or you can really kind of lose your buns when it's that hard, or it takes that long, or it takes that many packs on average to get another SIR. And we'll look at the numbers, but I think it's something like there's like 3 per box, or 3 per case rather. Sorry, so like 1 in every 2 boxes approximately that I was getting the SIRs. Your mileage may vary. We'd have to look at a larger sample size. This flippin' guy, this friggin' Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX, just showing up time and time again. Like these could have been Greninjas. They're probably the same rarity. I can't confirm. I did not see the sheet. I did not see the process, but these are probably the same rarity. So we could have ended up with a playset of Greninjas. Instead, we got the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, which is not expensive, unfortunately. So again, I want 1 of each card for my collection for the binder set. And then everything else here, we're kind of hoping if we get duplicates that we do get the expensive stuff. We got the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, very cool. He's a little bit of a pricey boy. Artwork is on point, pretty sick, nasty. We get the little bears and the little. We're just watching. We're watching the Ursaluna take the honey out of the tree. Kind of cool. It reminds me of the Skun Tank. I don't think anyone likes the Skun Tank though. We get the bees up above too. Cool. We get the little cutie flies. Kieran. So we doubled up on the Kieran. Unfortunately, we did not get his sister Carmine in the SIR treatment, which sucks real bad because if we're getting anything, it would have been nice to knock out the 2 most expensive cards in the set, which we did not find. Spoiler alert. We're missing the noodle Carmine. We're missing the Wellspring Mask, which is, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world if we're missing that bad boy. But we're also missing the Greninja, the Lana's Aid. I think this is underappreciated. We had a poll in the chat that was like not heavily skewed, but it was skewed in favor of, do you like Lana's Aid, SIR, or the EVIR better? I think if you were going to purchase one right now, you're probably buying the Lana's Aid is probably the better of the 2. Hard to pull. The Eevee, yes, I get it. It's Eevee, but this bad boy, I think underrated compared to everything else. We got Perrin. We got the good Perrin. And yes, it's very similar. We got the same kind of green background, but we do have, you can see here, we got the Growlithe in the lens, the little reflection, and it does pair with the IR. We got a couple of the Ogerpon Golden Boys. Again, no one really likes the golden cards. The Poffin's very expensive. So if you're going to hit duplicates, you want duplicates of the Poffin. Did end up pulling all of the gold cards, Buddy Puffin, Buddy Puffin. So we did get a dupe Puffin. I think one of those is going to Josh. We got Enhanced Hammer. Couple hammers. The hammer was like right towards the end. And then when we opened the Pokemon Center ETB as a little bonus round, we ended up with a duplicate. So the ETB didn't do us any favors in any way. We got Rescue Board. Oh, other than like I wanted the promos out of it. So we got the promos. Rescue Board and a Luminous Energy. So the gold cards knocked out of the park. We got them all. Let's take a look at the numbers. Buckle up, nerds. It is. We got the spreadsheet out. We got the spreadsheet out to see what's going on here. I'm going to give you some ideas on what these are going to be approximate. Again, a larger sample size would be ideal, but we got enough of a sample size here to give a pretty good idea of what we're getting, how many we're getting per pack, how hard it is to get something, what you're getting, what you're doing. Let's take a look. So now we'll go through, I guess, in order of rarity. We got the EXs, mostly in order of rarity. We got the EXs here. Maybe the IRs and the full art should have been changed a little bit. EXs. We pulled 186 EXs from the 191 packs. So now if we do the old Divisorino to get our pull rate on any given EX, it doesn't matter what EX it is. We're looking at a 0.17. We multiply that bad boy by 100 to get our percentage chance. So if you open, I guess, any given pack, if you open a pack of Twilight Masquerade, there is approximately a 17% chance that you're going to get an EX. An EX. Cool. We got that. We're on the same page. There are 14 different EXs in the set. So if you're looking for a specific EX, you're like, oh, I'll just open a pack. I got a 17% chance of getting an EX, and maybe you only want a Dragapult. Well, you got a 1.21 or 1.22% chance of pulling any specific EX. So there are a lot of EXs. So for that reason, it's pretty hard to find any individual one. That can definitely impact the price. I mean, it's the same thing when there's a lot of IRs or not very many IRs. It makes it more difficult, less difficult. And on average, we're getting 6.14 per box. Again, if somebody has additional data, they would like to add this data to their data, feel free to do so. Now the A-Specs. The A-Specs, we got 54 of those bad boys in 1,091 packs. Pull rate is at 0.04. Multiply by 100 to get our percentage. We got just under a 5% chance of pulling an A-Spec from any given pack. You got 6 of them. That brings us all the way down to a 0.82% chance of pulling an individual, a specific A-Spec. So this, I guess this all really lends to the fact that if you're looking for a specific card, don't open to try to find it, please. A lot of this stuff is very hard to find. You have to open a lot. And if you don't want the other cards, it's going to be more of a headache than anything. Just buy the single for the most part. Per box average, it's still good to know this stuff. We got 1.78. So you're usually getting just under 2 A-Specs per boxeroni. No, per box. Yeah. I was going to say per case, but I'm drunk. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. All right, IRs. We got 83 of them. That's a lot of IRs. Again, there's not very many IRs in the set. We only got 21. We take 83 divided by 1091. Gives us an old 7.61% chance at pulling an IR from a pack. That's pretty high. The IRs are there to save us. It's not like the old days with the old Fusion Strike and the early Sword and Shield stuff where, man, you get absolutely creamed on if they don't have Trainer Gallery and a Sword and Shield set. The early stuff, it was like a 1 in 6 chance of getting something that was like a V or better. This is it's kind of like Trainer Gallery. It's kind of saving us a little bit. It's making the packs a little bit more exciting. You're not opening a bunch of duds in a row, 5 duds for every one, V or better, EX or better. We get 21 different types. So this is where it comes in, and we discussed it with the Eevee. This is not like the Magikarp, because the Magikarp was 3 Japanese sets combined. So essentially, what we're looking at here is there's 12%. If they pull out some of them for promos or whatever, you're going to have 24 minus a couple, minus a few. It's going to bring this number down. But when you add a third set there's a whole another 12 potentially that can be added to the set, making them extremely hard. So this is with the different types here, and the percentage of specific, like it's already low. It's already very low. There's only a 0.3% chance or 0.36% chance of pulling a specific IR. If you want one IR, you pick it beforehand, you open the pack. There's somewhere like it's 0.3 or 0.4% chance of getting that specific one from that one individual pack. So the odds are not good. But a lot of this stuff is going to get opened. And that's frequent enough that, like, I have a hard time believing that the EV, yes, it's desirable because it's an EV. I don't think it's going to be crazy expensive in the long term. Now, years from now, probably, maybe, when you can't pull one, finding one in good shape. I know there were some people that were complaining about they had there's like a weird foil thing that happens sometimes with the IRs, especially, where there's like lines, like vertical and horizontal lines that are like the foil sheet is messed up or weird or something. I don't know. I don't know what the cause is or what's going on, but sometimes they're jacked up like that. Mine weren't. But just know that you might, if you do pull one eventually, that might happen. The per box average on the IRs is 2.74, so you're getting close to 3 per box. When there's 3 per box, close to 3 per box, and you get 21 different types, the EVs are going to show up pretty often. Now, full art, 71. Pretty awesome. I think the full art ratio is pretty spot on. It feels right. I mentioned this while I was opening. I probably mentioned it earlier in this video. The full art ratio and the SIR difficulty feels like it's in the right spot. Like it feels natural. It doesn't feel like the full arts are the chase, and then you're buying $3 cards because you can't pull them. Like they're not the main chase. And I think the changes that they made to the rates on these is definitely a good one. All right, 6.5% chance of opening one from a pack. We got 21 different types of those as well, and we got a 0.309 or a 0.31 percent chance of, this is percentage. This is the probability here. We're looking, that's a 0.31% chance of pulling a specific full art, because there's a lot of full arts in the set. Per box average, you're getting 2.34 per box, so pretty good. It's not too far off from like where the IRs are. Especially we have we have 21 types of each, so you can kind of see the difference here, depending on what the per box average is, or the number that you get, where you get a little bit more IRs than you do full arts. People love the IRs, especially if it's like a specific IR, especially if it's the IR that everyone's chasing. Guys, please try not to chase what other people are chasing. It usually works out really well if you don't. SIR, we got 14 pulled, 14 in 1,091 packs. So they're damn rare. The gold cards, very rare. We were getting like 1 per case essentially. Sometimes we would get a second one per case. This number on the gold one, we'll get to that, but it's probably skewed a little bit because our ETB with 11 packs had a gold card in it. But maybe we had one less than we should have. This is all an approximation. These are not exact numbers, but this gives you a pretty good idea of what you should expect when you're opening a little bit. When you're opening a little bit, it can go either way. Sometimes it feels like it's rigged. Sometimes it feels like you're the luckiest man on earth or woman on earth. But it's just how it is. The pull rates, and you don't even start to see the real rates or what's going on until you have just a disgusting sample size. And this is disgusting, but it's not even disgusting enough. SIR 14 at a 191. We get a 1.28% chance of opening a pack and getting an SIR. That is crazy. You got a 1% chance there. Little Johnny that's got his allowance. His dad's like, hey, yeah, you can have 1 pack of Twilight Masquerade. Go pick it out. My God, he is the luckiest kid on earth when he pulls an SIR from that thing, because it is very hard to do so. Pretty damn rare. 11 different types, so percentage of a specific one. So let's say we want to pull a Greninja. We want the Greninja. We want Greninja or bust. This is what our odds are: 0.12% to pull a Greninja. Approximately. Again, this is approximate, but this gives you an idea or a scope of how difficult it is to pull that one card. So if you just want the Greninja, you don't want anything else, you're probably better off just buying the Greninja. Even though it's probably more expensive now than it will be a little bit down the road when people kind of forget about it. Per box average, we got a 0.46. So yeah, less than half the boxes. I think this is largely because our last case, I think all the cases had 3 in it, except for the last one, which had an additional hyper gold, whatever you want to call it. So again, this is also assuming maybe these are in the same category, the same rarity. They're seeded the same way, but sometimes you get an SIR and a gold in the same box. Like if you get one box, you only get one box, you're buying one box, you're going to open your one box for fun. You understand what's going on. You understand that you're probably not going to get the entire value of the box back out of it. Guess what? You could get super lucky. I mean, I had some bad boxes. There was boxes that didn't have an SIR, didn't have a hyper, had a couple full arts, and sometimes the full arts were bad. I think the worst box was kind of saved a little bit because it had an EV in it, but like the volatility is definitely there when you open one box. Like you can get a banging box. You can get a bad box. You could get a box where you make money off of it. It's possible. It's not likely, but it is possible. Now, hyper rare gold. The golds, 9. We pulled 9 of them in 1,091 packs. Gives us a big old 0.82% chance of pulling one from a pack. The gold cards are rare. A lot of them are very inexpensive, but my God, are they rare. 6 different types gives us a big old 0.14% chance of pulling a specific one. So if you're looking for a Poffin, if you're trying to pull that Poffin because you want to bling out your deck, I got bad news for you. They are very hard to pull. We did end up with 2 of them. We got lucky a little bit on the duplication on that rather than something else because, again, the Poffin is kind of the only expensive gold one. Maybe the Ursaluna is a couple bucks, but you definitely want Poffins. If you get a Poffin, you're laughing. That's a good time. Although it's a whole lot easier to just pull an EV and around the same value. At the moment, TM warning. Per box average, we got about a 0.3 per box. So yeah, pretty rare, pretty damn rare. And again, they were looking a whole lot like they were 1 per case. Until the end there, until we doubled up, and then also, I guess we doubled up in 2 of the cases, pretty sure. But again, more rare than the SIRs, less of them than the SIRs. So like when you pull a specific one, you're more likely to pull a specific one than the SIR because there's 11 SIRs. Do we get it that? So it's harder to pull any individual SIR. It's harder to pull the Greninja than it is to pull the Poffin, but it's harder to pull a gold card than it is to pull an SIR. I know, it's weird. It's crazy like that it's got a little flip, little twist. Hopefully this was helpful. I know this is, I think it's good for people to, whether you're opening, whether or not, like set your expectations in a way that are realistic. Do know that, again, this stuff is very rare. This is, the set completion, that kind of thing, it's crazy. And I can only imagine that later on in Scarlet and Violet, we'll probably get some crazy stuff going on. They usually ramp up the difficulty and the size of the sets and craziness going on and rarities and additional crazy stuff. So I'm sure some of that will be coming in the second half, in the later half of Scarlet and Violet. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, moral of the story, singles are your friend. Don't chase the singles that are playable, and don't chase unless you want to play them. Don't chase the singles that are playable. Wait for them to cool off and not be played anymore. And if you're I guess in general, just don't and stay away from the stuff that hype dogged. If you see people posting about stuff, if you see something spike in price, it's probably a good sign to stay away. All right, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was informative. Again, thank you for everyone that joined in on the opening. Hopefully we get more of those going in the future. It was a blast. It was, oh my God, it was exhausting. I need to make sure that I'm more rested for the next one when that happens. And because, my God, I was just too much to do in the morning. I should have been completely super rested to the extreme. 8.5 hours is no joke. Whether you're opening Pokemon cards or what you're doing, I'll get some better granola bars for next time. If you know, you know. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Discord. See you next time. Bye.